Conditions get to the heart of the matter because they tell us when another party has to perform. If their performance is not due, failure to perform is not breach. Performance in a contract might not yet be due when a condition precedent has not yet occurred or when a condition subsequent has. So understanding conditions is the key to understanding contractual obligations. A contract condition is defined as a future and uncertain event on which the existence or extent of an obligation or liability depends, or alternatively, an uncertain future event that triggers or negates a duty to render a promised performance. The Restatement Section 224 and 230 likewise define these conditions precedent and conditions subsequent, although the restatement only uses the term condition and generally refers to conditions precedent and makes little mention of conditions subsequent. Conditions are very important, so I will use one more slide to explain them. Conditions, like any contract term, can be express or implied, and there's a big difference between the effect of an express term that is not performed versus an implied one, as we'll see in the doctrine of substantial performance. Courts avoid interpreting terms as express conditions because the doctrine of strict compliance can sometimes lead to harsh and unfair results when that condition is not fully performed. But implied conditions are the norm. They are presumed in an exchange of promises. Implied conditions can be substantially performed, reducing that harsh result. And Restatement 226 says that an event may be made a condition either by agreement of the parties or by a term supplied by the court, again, suggesting that we can have implied conditions as well as express ones. This is roughly what I think of conditions looking like. They operate on a promise, making that performance under that promise either due or not due. Until that condition occurs, or in the case of a condition subsequent, so long as it does not occur, that promise is not yet due. The performance of that promise is not due until the condition has been met. There are three general ways that conditions, or I should say, that covenants, which encompass both promises and conditions, operate. So here are three ways that covenants operate, which include both terms and conditions. Independent promises are a type of covenant that are not conditioned on each other and are not conditioned themselves. Independent promises need to be performed regardless of what happens to any other independent promise. A sequential condition is a type of condition, meaning that something has to happen first in order for another duty to become later. And a simultaneous condition means that there are two things which are conditions to each other, and so both parties have to be ready to perform in order for the other party's performance to be due as well. These are sometimes called the Kingston covenants, and we'll discuss them separately, first with express conditions, which are subject to strict performance, and then discuss implied conditions and the doctrine of substantial performance versus material breach and total breach.